no one else has been able to make a lot of moves except Jimmy Johnson back up toward the front.
And you know, Michael and I were showing you the dog leg back there on the back straightaway and how that could lead to some trouble. But here's Jeff Gordon in a 24 car going around Brad Keselowski. See how he dropped to the apron, cut the dog leg, took the shortcut, got to position, and was able to make the pass. That's a nice, clean way to use the apron.
And unlike Daytona and Talladega, which are marked by a double yellow line at the inside of the track, there is no out of bounds here at Phoenix and at the other Sprint Cup tracks. Here is Jeff Gordon at 8th place. Krista.
Mike, Jeff Gordon started this race saying he was ungodly loose going into turn 1, but they needed track position because of his poor qualifying effort, so they stayed out. Jeff came on the radio a few laps ago and said, boys, it's starting to turn now.
And we saw that yesterday in some of the races here. Some guys stayed out on old tires after a caution. Some guys came in, got left side, some got right side, some got forward. This tire, my experience with Goodyear in their tire testing, when you go to a new track like we had here last fall, the right side tires are always real conservative, pretty hard. It's the left sides that take the beating. That's where they get the grip from, out of the left sides. Left side tires won the race yesterday. Probably going to be the factor again today.
All right, let's catch up with our Daytona 500 winner, Matt Kenseth, who has climbed from 26th up to 7th, Krista.
Well, Mike, in a similar situation as Jeff Gordon, they had to start the car loose because they know this track is going to tighten up. Matt said what he learned about this new configuration in the fall. He said, I like this track, but the backstretch is, and this was his word of choice, weird.
Well, and we have to remember he was one of those 10 drivers that stayed out. This is a backup car. Matt Kenseth crashed early in that second practice on Friday. They had to unload this car. They did get a few laps, but he didn't get the qualifying run he was looking for.
Turn 4, you know, it never fails. Michael and I did that piece on the back straightaway and how that's where you want to watch. But just turn 4 here, traditionally, under any configuration, has been the trouble spot. And watch what happened off turn 4 the last time around with Greg Biffle and Joey Logano in the 20 car down underneath him. Makes some contact, gets Biffle a little bit loose, makes the pass.
It's almost like Joey Logano's 20 car. It just wasn't wanting to turn right there. He was probably turning the wheel, but it was just sliding up the track.
Bit of an arrow push, I'd say.
And Jimmy Johnson used that arc in the back straightaway, the former dogleg, to make the pass on Regan Smith and move up to 2nd. Let's show it to you.
There he goes down on the, takes the shortcut. But right there is where Regan Smith in the 78 spotter probably said the 48 is under you looking inside, and Regan was smart, gave Jimmy Johnson in the 48 the room.
Jimmy Johnson has finished in the top 5 in 10 of his last 11 races at Phoenix, all except last November. Kevin Harvick leading Jimmy Johnson by a 2.5 seconds. Regan Smith 2.5 back. Harvick in control right now.
Nascar on Fox.
55 laps complete in the Subway Fresh Fit 500 at Phoenix. Kevin Harvick leading Jimmy Johnson, Regan Smith, Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Busch. Clint Boyer back on track, but Casey Kane, one of 6 cars in the garage. And Larry, of the top 10, 8 of these drivers did not stop under the caution for Clint Boyer. They're going to need to be in pit road pretty soon.
Yeah, Mike, the fuel window here at Phoenix is about 78 to 84 laps, so we're probably looking about 20 to 25 laps. Drivers like Kevin Harvick will have to make a green flag stop. All the other drivers, including Jimmy Johnson in the 48, they'll be able to go about 15, 16 laps further than that.
But if we get green flag pit stops, the spotters on the roof are going to be busy. And here at Phoenix, they have a unique viewpoint, which is shared by Jeff Hammond.
Yeah, Mike, I've relocated here to the top of the spotter stand. A little different than other week at Daytona when the spotter stand was located right at the start-finish line. We're down at right about the middle of 1 and 2, and the biggest challenge for these guys is the fact that you exit off the late part of turn 4 to just about the start-finish line. You got to be careful. You try to tell your driver when you clear in. A lot of times they got a better view on it, but from up here right now, it is a challenge for them. Just like this racetrack, these guys have had to adapt. But somebody will make the right call here today. They may want to be in the winning one. One other thing, up here, I can really see how that 48 car guys is rolling the center of this corner and gaining on the 29.
Yeah, the 29 car's lead is a NFL. Not for long.
Steve?
Johnson reporting to his team that his car is really good through 3 and 4. He said he can roll through there. And caution's out.
Debris, turn 3. Now that's the reason for the second caution of the day. It comes out working lap number 60 here in Phoenix.
And that caution, the timing of it's perfect for those drivers we just talked about, because for the most part now, everyone is on equal ground. Everyone's going to have to come to pit road. I think we'll still see a mixed bag of strategy, but I think every driver will be on pit road.
Well, I think, Larry, the 48 took 4 tires on his pit stop, and we saw how fast he was.
Phoenix native J.J. Yaley will get the free pass. He was the first car 1 lap down. And here they come to pit road. Krista.
Kevin Harvick telling his crew chief Shane Wilson, I needed to turn better, but whatever you do not take away my grip. Dick?
Regan Smith is going to have to pit as well. He's got the condition of loose in one part of the racetrack, tight in another, Matt.
And Denny Hamlin telling his new crew chief Darian Grubb he has to wait way too long to get back in the gas, especially on exit of turn 4. It's costing him too much time. Track bar adjustment, Steve.
Chad Canals reminding Jimmy Johnson not to stop deep in his box. Better stop this time. Saying he's just getting a little bit tight in the center at both ends of the racetrack. Earl Barvin, the spotter, reminding him to take care of his brakes. 4 tires for Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, Darrell, when you've got as good a car as Jimmy Johnson has, you may have to do something late in the race, but give me 4 tires every time.
Wow, look at the gamble.
The history of that 48 car.
The gamble by Kurt Busch. He takes on just 2 tires and gains 16 positions to second. Ready for the restart in Phoenix. Ford F-150 EcoBoost Track Facts. Ford has 13 wins here in the desert. Roush Fenway got their 300th NASCAR win across NASCAR's top 3 series in the Daytona 500. And the last Phoenix Sprint Cup races have been won by different drivers, 6 in a row.
And the last 4 broke huge winless streaks for 4 different drivers.
Clint Boyer gets the wave around, so does Josh Wise. Boyer gets one of his 5 laps down back. Casey Kane is back in the race. Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch will lead them down to the restart green behind the Dodge Charger police pursuit safety car. We're going to go racing. We're going to crank it up for you on Fox. Time by, Kurt Busch really dirt tracked it off turn 4 to try to hold that lead from Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, I think Jimmy kind of said, let Kurt get in front of him into 51 because he knows he's got a little bit better car and he's got better tires. He's just setting him up.
Johnson makes his move to the inside for the lead. And the all-time lap leader at Phoenix, 877 and counting, Jimmy Johnson out front. Matt?
And Kurt Busch on their first run, Mike, just the opposite of the last run. The first run, the car was really tight in the center. They made some big adjustments, took 4 tires. The second stop, they just took lefts. The car was loose, but this team really trying to build on something after a very difficult and struggling speed weeks in Daytona.
But you learned something right there, Mike, Larry. I mean, the 51 car, what if that had been a green-white checker? Could have been a different deal.
Kurt Busch slip sliding around. Here comes Matt Kenseth and younger brother Kyle Busch in the 18. Kyle Busch to third, or second rather, behind Johnson. Kenseth battling Kurt Busch for third.
That last set of pit stop, Matt Kenseth's crew, we're riding with Matt right now. They